Most people think obedience is loud, that it looks like grand gestures, public declarations, bold announcements to the world. I'm doing God's will. But the truth is, obedience is often quiet. It looks like deleting the text you wanted to send, turning down the deal everyone told you to take, walking away for what felt right because something deeper whispered, that's not your path. These are the silent tests, the internal battles no one sees but heaven. And this is where most people fail, not in action but in attention, because obedience isn't about speed, it's about sensitivity. Can you still hear God's whisper when the world is screaming options at you? Can you pause long enough to notice when peace leaves a room? Can you discern between what's urgent and what's divine? Every great move of God in Scripture began in obscurity. Moses was in the desert, David was in the field, Joseph was in a pit, and in that hidden place, obedience was refined. They were being forged in a furnace of obscurity. So when the moment came, they moved with clarity no storm could break. So if you're in a quiet season right now, don't curse it. Don't rush it. God hides those he wants to use deeply, because private surrender always precedes public impact. Let's talk about disruption. Some of the things you're calling attacks are actually divine interventions. That job you lost? Protection. That relationship that fell apart? Protection. That door that slammed shut after all your fasting and praying? Still protection. Because you were about to step into something that looked like destiny, but would have derailed your soul. Napoleon Hill said, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But sometimes that benefit is not immediate. Sometimes it's disguised as a breakdown. That's really a realignment. You think God is punishing you, but he's actually rerouting you. He's letting the storm rise, not to destroy you, but to anchor you. Because the life you're called to build requires foundation, and foundation requires depth, and depth only comes through surrender. When God disrupts your plans, it's not rejection, it's redirection. Listen closely. Obedience is not just about action. It's about response. When God speaks, delay is disobedience. Some of us are praying for acceleration while walking in hesitation. You're asking for overflow while living in compromise. You're quoting verses about favor while ignoring the instruction he already gave you. You don't need another sermon. You need to do the last thing he told you. Obedience doesn't need confirmation when you already have conviction. Abraham didn't need a second sign to pack up and move. He heard and he moved. No GPS, no blueprint, just a word from God, and that was enough. And because of that obedience, generations were blessed. Imagine what could shift if you stopped hesitating, if you stopped stalling, if you stopped saying, I'm still praying about it, when you already know the answer. Sometimes the miracle you're waiting for is waiting on your movement. There's a sound that obedience carries. It's not noisy. It's not chaotic. It's still. It's deep. It's weighty. You can tell when someone walks in obedience because their presence speaks before they do. They don't need to impress. They embody. They don't need to prove. They carry peace. That's what happens when you're in rhythm with God. You walk with fire and speak with oil. Your steps are heavy with purpose. Your words carry the weight of heaven. You're not chasing influence, because influence starts chasing you. Not because you're trying, but because you're aligned. When you live in obedience, you attract what others strive for, because obedience unlocks spiritual gravity. Do you want to know what the enemy fears most? It's not your hustle. It's not your resume. It's not your strategy. It's your obedience. Because obedience restores something hell tried to steal: authority. The authority to speak and shift the atmosphere. The authority to break generational cycles. The authority to pray with power. The authority to walk through darkness and still radiate light. When you obey, you don't just live differently. You command differently. Your prayers shift. Your presence pierces. Your path becomes protected. Because now, you walk like one who has heaven behind them. And let me remind you, when God anoints a life, no demon in hell can rewrite the story. You've been fighting battles you weren't meant to fight, carrying burdens you were never meant to carry, living under expectations God never wrote for you. And now, God is calling you to surrender. Not a passive surrender, not giving up, but a holy surrender, a violent act of obedience that tears down idols. Your need to be understood, your need to be applauded, your addiction to clarity before movement. Lay it down, because when you finally surrender, God doesn't just guide you, He transforms you. You don't just walk differently. You are different. This is where purpose lives. This is where favor flows. This is where fire falls. And I don't mean comfort. I don't mean surface success. I mean glory. The kind of glory that makes demons tremble. The kind that heals families through your obedience. The kind that rewrites bloodlines. The kind that builds legacies you'll never live to see. But heaven will echo forever. You want to change the world? Obey. You want peace that can't be shaken? Obey. You want to walk with power, clarity, and fire? Obey. You've heard the voice long enough. Now it's your move. No more delays. No more excuses. No more waiting on permission from people who don't carry your calling. Obedience is your permission. Obedience is your strategy. Obedience is your open door. And yes, it will cost you, but disobedience costs more. It costs time. It costs clarity. It costs legacy. So choose now. Will you build another year around your plan? Or God's? Will you keep praying for peace while running from instruction? Will you keep asking God to bless what He's been trying to break? Because the moment you say, I'm done running, I'm ready to obey, heaven responds. God doesn't move on emotion. He moves on obedience. So this is your line in the sand. This is your turning point. This is the moment the old you dies and the obedient you rises, no longer bound by fear, no longer stalling in indecision, no longer delaying divine assignment. You've been chosen. You've been called. You've been prepared in secret for such a time as this. So walk. Don't crawl. Don't wait. Don't explain. Walk. And when you walk the obedient path, hell shakes, heaven moves, and the world will never be the same again.